Okay, this vehicle is the LVT Mk2 type amphibious transporter made in America. So this is armed with a 250 horsepower engine, 6 to 12 millimeters of armor, 16 tons. Okay. Okay, this is all at this M38. The museum is fairly fantastic, but I don't think it's gonna be actually reconstructed by 2015. But the time I went, this is what you see basically. They have this giant umbrella-like structure that covers all the tanks. So they brought out all the tanks. I suppose this must be a artillery, maybe, I don't know. This is the front view, what you get to see. You can't go inside the building, as I said. And right now, coming up in the screen, this is the T-62. At the time, I'll tell you the story. At the time, if you know, this is actually one of the best tanks in the world. The T-62A, you get it as a tier 10. Very, very good tank the Soviet had. And if you know history, in the 90s, late 50s, China and Soviet Union split up. You know, we were communist brothers, but there was some dispute and basically became enemies. And the Soviets threatened to start threatening China that they're gonna use nuclear weapons and attack China from the north, which is Manchuria, the northeast. The Type 59 right now coming up, different variants. Type 58, the T-34-85. This vehicle won the Korean War. Okay, back to the story. Sorry about that. Yes, at the time they had this border conflict. At the time, China's tank program wasn't going very well. So what they had to do was they wanted some ideas from the outside, but nobody would help China. Not the Americans, not the Soviets. So at the border clash, which I think 60-80 soldiers died, the Soviets brought out their T-62s to attack the Chinese position, and the Chinese, because at the time they were outclassed, but they were brave. So what they did, they charged. There was like an island in the middle, so they charged onto the island. They planted some mines on the ice, anti-tank mines, and one of the T-62s ran over it, got its tracks blown off, and wait. No, it wasn't mine. It was RPG-7 or something. Our guy RPG'd the tank from like 5-meter range or something, and still ricocheted off. So he decided that he's gonna blow up the tracks first, and he actually risked his life. He almost got killed in action there, but he did manage to track the tank. The Soviet crew came out, and when they got out of the tank, what they decided was that they ran away. They called in artillerists, right? They knew the tank was top secret at the time. They don't want the Chinese to have the technology. So they called in an artillery barrage and actually broke all the ice, and the T-62 sank into the river. And then later, a few days, the Chinese government, the soldier that actually saw it told the, what you call the Central, which is the Chinese government. And then the Chinese government decided that we're going to get that out of the river, and then at night time they got some heavy machines and just dragged it out of the river and brought it to the tank sort of place in Beijing, where they analyzed it and they made some improvement to the Type 59. So it was actually massive improvement to the it's contributed a lot to the Chinese tank industry at the time, because they didn't have any idea or how to improve the tanks. And Soviets, because we captured it, they used the basic stuff they found in the T-62 to improve the Type 58, which turned into the Type 69 and follow on. But right now the Chinese Type 99 is good enough, you know, to fight against any Challenger 2 or whatsoever. So look at this picture here. This stupid guy I got on the picture. I don't know what he was doing, but MiGs, you know, old MiGs, Soviet supplied to the Chinese during the Korean War. Most of the American vehicles were captured during the Korean War, the Forgotten War, or whatever you call it. Basically, the Americans, you know, they abandoned some of the tanks and they brought the tanks back to China and they put it in the museum. Yes, the T-62 was a fabulous tank, and I was able to see it, and you know, I think I've been in there before. At one time when I was small, they had the if you pay, you can go inside the tanks, which I did, and I remember it was quite cramped in there, and you get little periscopes you can see to the outside. It's a fantastic experience. I hope you can go there and explore. If you pay, and you can go on like flat guns, you can rotate the flags and aim at the air and blah blah blah, do all that sort of stuff. You can pay to go inside a ship and things like that. Look at this old cannon they had in the Qing dynasty. This must be old. Must be one of the treasures they have in the museum. Then I think this is a Japanese ship or something they captured, and then you get the Chaffee, the stock Chaffee. You see this in the British Bovington Tank Museum. I went there to see it, and we got a video here to just give you an idea where it is. It was quite cold at the time, about -10, I think. It's a bit too cold, so you see me wobble a lot, and I'll try to improve my recording skills, if you know what I mean. But here, the Soviet rocket launcher, Katyusha sort of thing, if you know what it is. Basically, it launches rockets to the enemy in vast numbers, very effective to kill off people. The Type 74, probably Chinese copy again. This HY-1, surface to shore to ship missile. This one was used in the Iraqi force, probably in the Iraqi army. They probably Well, the Iraqi army at the time, they basically, I think, launched some to the like British American sort of ships. They launched some of them. That's what I've known. That missile called the Silkworm was very powerful indeed, but lacks of any sort of accuracy. So it's basically like massive KV2 shell, you know. It's not likely that it's gonna hit, but if it hits, it's gonna do damage, plenty of damage. Type 59. You see the coaxial machine gun there on the left of the gun, well, right to it if you look in the tank's position. And then you see the I don't know what I was pointing at, but you see the shape of the turret is pretty good. I think this tank should be put as tier 10 easily. If you think about it, it's still in service in the Chinese army, but in the Chinese army they obviously upgraded it. Here's the thing telling about armor penetration, how sloped armor and reactive armor works. Very interesting. So what is this? Type 59. Oh wow, I'm filming. This is crap. Okay, this seems to be an improved version, obviously. Probably around the 80s. They have probably them. Yes, basically in Bovington Tank Museum, the one they have, the Type 59, was actually an export version to basically the Africans and the Middle East. And it was some of the new Type 59s actually got upgraded to 3rd generation standard, which is about Challenger 2 standard. Don't know how they do it, but apparently the tanks is as good as, probably not as good as a, obviously not as good as a Challenger 2 or Leopard 2 or any sort, but it's 3rd generation. It has the 125mm on the type. This is M4A3, captured in Korea. Wait, A3, I guess. It's considerably larger than the Soviet era tanks like the T-62, if you see. It's much more smaller. Oh god, get away people. So many people. M4A1, okay. And then the Persian. This one's captured by the People's voluntary army. What am I doing? Come on, okay. What am I doing? Shaking around. What am I doing? Sorry about this. And another section, probably. This is. Oh god. Okay, some fighter plane. Don't know what this is. Why am I? Okay, P-51 Mustang. Okay. They do. Okay, this was actually over Tiananmen Square. They flew this over Tiananmen Square to do some military parade. If you see, it's got the Chinese emblem on it. T-33A coaching, like, what do you call it? Coaching plane. This, you see this? This is actually the leftovers of reconnaissance plane called the U-2. The Soviets used to, the Americans used to do surveillance stuff over China and Soviet Union using this. This is how altitude sort of plane. The pilots inside have to wear them sort of helmets that looks like astronauts in order to live, to stay alive up there. So at such a high altitude, F-86. Yeah, basically this. The Chinese knew the Americans were scouting out, and then so what they decided was that they're gonna make a trap. And once where they got the old SAM-2, at the time China only had SAM-2, so very old surface to air missile, but it will hit the target no matter what. The U2 has no defense at all, but the later upgraded U2 versions had the improved system where if you play Battlefield, you know, if people lock onto you, you get the BB sound. So basically they calculated the Chinese ground troops only had about 20 seconds to knock the plane down before the plane runs out of the range. So once they got some H6, the Chinese 216 strategic bomber to Xi'an, and when they got deployed there, the Americans wondered, so what are they? So basically they got some U2s to fly from Taiwan to mainland China to scout out the area, and that was the trap. There were surface to air ground missile troops which shot it down. I think it was the third surface to air squadron, or whatever you call it, knocked it out. The new Chinese stealth plane. This is model. It cost about a few thousand, I think. Few thousand yuan, about a few £100. Yeah, China's first aircraft carrier. Made of okay, 4,980 yuan. So about $600. Some replicas. They're all quite expensive. And thanks for watching. If you want to know about more of the stories, I'll probably make more videos about them, special videos, but please comment, tell me what you think I should do in the future, and check out my World of Tanks gameplay videos. And this is probably one of my first visits there with my camera, so I'll probably go to Kubinka one day, who knows when. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and tell me what you want to see in the next video.